9 years ago this week on May 10th, 2005, WWE suspended Jim Cornette after a few incidents at Ohio Valley Wrestling in Louisville. OVW was their developmental territory at the time, their primary one anyway. There was a TV taping where Cornette cut a promo on Kevin Fatigue, who was the former Mordecai and future Kevin Thorne. He cut a promo on him, I guess, backstage for wearing a baseball hat during a dark match. More memorable than that, though, was the incident involving a young Santino Marella, who was just a student at the time, and the Boogeyman. And to set this up, let me play some audio for you. This is from a Q&A that Cornette did at the NWA Fan Fest 5 years ago.
I slapped Santino Marella 17 times.
It's always 16, right?
Well, 16 or 17. You were there. Was anybody counting or were they just running? We're doing Ohio Valley Wrestling Television. It is a wrestling school where people come to learn to be professional wrestlers. We're doing the TV show. The forces up north have sent me the Boogeyman. Now, I was running a professional wrestling show, and they want me to use a guy who's never wrestled in front of an audience before, who's named the Boogeyman, and that's all they give me. Okay, he's never had a match, he's 40 years old, and we call him the Boogeyman. Use him. All right. So I decided instead of having him in matches, that I would create the aura around the Boogeyman that, look, we announced on television, I said, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that there is a gentleman who has been coming onto the Ohio Valley Wrestling property, coming to the matches, coming to the arena. He wants to be a professional wrestler. We believe he is mentally ill and he has a serious anger management issue. He's had problems in the past. He's got a legal background. If you see this man who believes he is the Boogeyman, let an OVW official know, don't approach him. Just trying to create some kind of aura around this guy so the people wouldn't think, okay, Cornette's trying to tell me this is the Boogeyman, right? No, I'm trying to tell you this motherfucker thinks he's the Boogeyman. That's dangerous.
So that's the setup to what happened. I have to say, that actually is very clever on Cornette's part. He's trying to make, chicken salad out of chicken shit here. He's got this guy with this unbelievable gimmick. He's trying to book a wrestling promotion. So he comes up with the idea that the guy is mentally ill. If you see him, don't approach him. That's cool because that then creates this aura of, okay, this guy is dangerous. You should be worried and you should be afraid of him. Okay, so that's actually really cool. So what ended up happening was they have the whole thing set up. Boogeyman can't wrestle for shit, but he's a good promo, according to Cornette. And they do this thing where he's going to come up through the ring during a match. And when he does, what's going to end up happening is he's going to come out of the ring and he's going to be chasing after people. And they have, by one of the fire exits, a whole bunch of their OVW students who are all, they know exactly what their job is. When Boogeyman comes over, they scatter and they run for their lives. And that's what happened, except for this one guy, that being Santino Marella, who just sat there with his arms crossed, kind of laughing. He laughed off the Boogeyman instead of showing fear. So what happened is, backstage after the event, Cornette's just going nuts. And Boogeyman is pissed beyond belief because he did everything in his power to get this guy to run away. When Santino didn't run away, Boogeyman started shaking the guardrail. He was doing all of these things, clearly waiting for this guy to run, and he never did. So after the segment or the show or whatever, they go backstage and Cornette says to somebody, is that guy one of ours? Is he one of our students? And they say, yeah. He goes, bring him to me. And they bring Santino over to him. And he said, why the hell didn't you run? And he says, well, nobody told me to. And Cornette just explodes. He says, nobody told you to. Everybody else ran away. Didn't you think that if they did, you should probably do the same thing? And he's just chewing this guy out in front of everybody. And Boogeyman's standing there. And Cornette's doing everything in his power to chew this guy out, let him know he made a mistake. But in Cornette's words, he saved Santino's life. Because when he was done, he told him to get out of there. And from his perspective, he stopped the Boogeyman from doing some horrible things to a young Santino Marella. So that's how he justifies it. But yeah, he slapped him around. He paintbrushed him around a few times. And probably shouldn't have done that. And he got a call from Johnny Ace later on saying you can't be putting your hands on the students. And what ended up happening was Cornette got suspended. And that suspension pretty much ended his run with WWE. He was gone shortly thereafter. He went to TNA, I think, the following year. And he hasn't been back since to WWE, and I don't think he will be back to WWE. He probably deserves a Hall of Fame induction one day, but he's one of those personalities who still, he speaks his mind, and he's had a lot of horrible things to say about Vince, about the McMahons, about WWE. So he may be in that Macho Man camp of, let's not put this guy in the Hall of Fame because we don't want to have anything to do with this guy. But that was the unraveling of Jim Cornette's relationship in WWE, and it goes back to the incident with Santino, where Santino just no-sold the boogeyman. Cornette slapped him around backstage to teach him a lesson, and that's just something you don't do.